Please like, hit that button, and please hit that button. Subscribe.
Wait, what?
That was cool. Keep that in there too. Wait, what? That was cool.
No. I'm not keeping wait, what?
Wait, what?
Once again, it's another rap jam scene. I can't say.
Welcome back, guys.
Want to be down with
Back to
the
break.
glow.
Appreciate you guys stopping by.
Welcome.
Watching these vids with us, man. You guys been around for the last 4 years. You know what this is, man. Just chilling, hanging out, watching some vids, man. If you are into this type of stuff, you like reaction channels, congrats, man. You found the best one. Here you will find no fake shit here. I don't know what minute we at. We might blur that out or beep that out. You won't find no fake stuff here, man. If it's funny, it's funny. If it's people sing good to us, we're gonna tell you. We don't love everything, just like you don't love everything. That's the reality of it. Like, to love and laugh at everything.
We don't play to the crowd.
It's wild to me. Dave Chappelle. This is gonna be. We haven't done this, and we're actually looking for. This is called "What's in a Name." I don't remember what this is or what it's about.
Neither do I.
But we were going through all the Dave Chappelle stuff. This is something that we haven't touched on.
The fourth one we're going through?
No, man. We
No, I'm talking about Netflix.
Bro, we did.
Sex and Sound. Yeah, Netflix.
I guess with the Netflix stuff, maybe, yeah. But we did before that. We did For What It's Worth and all
Right.
that.
Chappelle show and everything. Yeah.
Right, but I don't remember what this is, if I saw it or not. We're gonna check it out.
2022.
If you like other Chappelle stuff, man, if you like Chappelle show, check that out. It's on the channel. If you got $5 to blow, just to waste, check out our Patreon, guys. Over 100 videos over there, including full movies. You see the list before this thing starts. You see the list. There's a ton of people there, man. Like, you're missing out, honestly, on some great laughs. If you're bored at home, you're missing out on some great laughs. If you care. If you don't, thanks for being here on YouTube and all. We appreciate you, all that stuff.
I mean, the controversy of Dave Chappelle's Netflix.
Close that through Galveston School of Arts. Oh, I think I remember this.
We didn't show this. Did you see it? I didn't see this.
I think I remember him saying he spoke at a...
Oh, this is acceptance speech.
This
cool.
is surreal.
This is big.
In 1987, I moved back from Ohio to D.C. and enrolled in Eastern High School and did. You must not have went there when I went there, champ. Those were tough times, the way I remember it. When I had gone, I lived with my father for 3 years. I went to middle school in Ohio, and when I'd gotten back to Washington, the crack epidemic was in full swing, and the city was largely unrecognizable to me. I was an older kid, and kids my age were doing a lot of wild things that I didn't know that kids would do. I'd never seen a kid with a pager before. I didn't know anything about selling drugs or any of that shit. All I knew was every day when I went to Eastern, I didn't feel safe. I'm a quiet guy, naturally. I'm a shy person, naturally. And I used to get my hair cut on a barbershop in 15th Street Northeast. And I would go there, and everyone in the barbershop would just snap on each other. And I'd sit in the corner and I'd watch everybody and just listen to all these jokes. The guys were funny as shit, but one day, after a few weeks of going there getting my hair cut, they turned the jokes on me. I call that day the barbershop massacre. I lit everybody in that barbershop up. I've been sitting in there listening to for weeks talk about each other. I knew every inside joke about each and every one of them, and they couldn't believe I knew this stuff. I lit their asses up.
The barbershop massacre.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah.
And from then on in the neighborhood, people kind of like me. Oh, this guy, he's pretty funny. Time magazine released an article about Bill Cosby. The headline said, 50 funny and filthy rich. And I read that article, and it was when I was looking at his face before all that disgrace that I looked and I said, I could do that. I told my father, and my father said, well, then just do it. That's why I wouldn't even know where to start. And he said, well, look in the phone book. It's before the internet, if you're young. We used to have a book with phone numbers in it.
Right. Everyone was listed. Mine was listed.
It's wild.
Right.
My father found for me the local comedy club in Washington, D.C. I called him. I found out when open mic night was, and I started to go there on Tuesday nights, just watch. And then one night I went on a weekend. I would get my money together and I would go to this comedy club and I would just watch these comedians, and sometimes they would talk to me. And I told one of the comedians after a show one night, I said, man, I really want to try to do this. And he said, well, he said, if you want to be a good comedian, you should know how to act. I said, why? He says, he didn't explain it. I said, okay, and I told my parents, and this is how I came to find out about Duke Ellington, my mother. She said, there's a place you can go where you can learn to act right here in Washington. It's a high school. I said, you mean I would get out of Eastern? The school year was already in full swing, and Ellington has a policy that they don't let people just come in the middle of the year. But Linda Gravatt, who was the head of the theater department at the time, very graciously took a meeting with me and my mother, and I get emotional thinking about it. Anybody that went here,
Say we're not gonna pause, but we lie. We always gonna pause.
That's cool.
He's like the only one that could literally, the way he does his comedy though, because this technically kind of, without the jokes here and there, is how he does his comedy now.
Yeah.
Just talk to you.
Back in that, he was more. Back in 20 years ago, he was more the.
No, it was more. Hey, boom, punchline or something. Now it's just. I'm just talking to you, man. Here go a funny joke right there. Boom. Okay, now I'm talking to you.
He graduated. He mixes it in so smoothly, because it's not just a setup for a joke. It's actually a story or a point he's making.
No, right.
Or a topic.
But it's just
a topic.
He's literally probably the only person I would pay to go see to just go talk.
Yeah.
Because he's so engaged, like he's not saying nothing really funny. He not saying any jokes or anything or not, and we're just still just like on every word.
Immersed. Yeah. Yeah.
remember what it was first like when you first walked through the door? And it was in the afternoon and everyone was in their arts classes and the girls had tutus on. And everyone was weird and walking around the hallway like you weren't sure where anyone was supposed to be, and you could hear people practicing their horns and shit all through the hallways.
That's cool.
There was art bouncing off the walls. The minute I walked through the door, there was a gallery of all these children's work, and these pictures were amazing.
That's cool. Art's incredible, man. Art can never be stopped.
No, and it's
art, yeah, in every form should keep
pretty much God gifted.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But it shouldn't be.
You can work on it.
Shouldn't be city cutting budgets to get rid of art and all that.
Of course not, man.
It's such an expression, man, of oneself.
Of course not, but we always talk about how people are just gifted in certain ways, like art, as far as making art and painting and doing that, making here's a grass and I just made a fucking Eiffel Tower out of it, like things we'll never be able to do that they could just okay. Yeah. You hear people say all the time, oh yeah, I just sat at a piano and heard a song and was like, okay.
There should be a place for those folks. Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
My first thought when I walked through that door, I'm not good enough to be here.
Right.
I'm sure. Miss Gravatt sat me down, she told me about the school, and you remember Miss Gravatt, she was very businesslike, but also very warm. She was intimidating, but palpably kind. She was a paradox of a human being. And she gave me a date for an audition. My mother said, okay, Dave, it's on you. Now, those of you who know me know that I didn't prepare for that audition. That audition was like a possession. It was just something that I was proud to have. But as the days got closer, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get something together. I didn't even know how to do an audition. I'd never done it before. So I went, I said, what do I need? They said a monologue. So I looked up monologue. And I went to the library, the MLK library, this huge library, so I gotta find something. And I found a piece in one of those yellow script books. It was a monologue by Mark Twain called The Judge's Spirited Woman. I learned it in a night. You know, it was not hard for me to memorize things. The next day, it was a Saturday, I think, and I came to the school, and they auditioned in what used to be this room, the original theater at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And all the department heads sat in here, and the lights are in your eyes, and there's a bunch of kids who already go to the school who come on Saturday just to see who might be coming.
Wow. There's something cool about that.
And I talked to all these kids before I went in, and these kids were nothing like the kids at Easton. They were like them, but they were different. They were weird and funny and self-deprecating, things like this. And I remember I came out on stage and I did my audition, and it was like terrible. I froze up in the beginning. I started, and then I said, wait a minute, I'm messing up. I'm gonna start again. And I was nervous, and I was scared. And in the middle of the audition, I'm in the middle of the monologue, one of the teachers, Fred Leach, he said, Fred Leach, he goes, okay, that's enough. I said, well, there's still a little more. He goes, no, that is enough, he said. And I can't tell you, like, I was crushed.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Without saying his disapproval, I knew it stunk. And I was right. When I walked in here, I knew I wasn't good enough to go to this school. And I thought to myself, fuck this school, that's stupid anyway.
Exactly what you do. Flip it.
16, 17 digits, yeah.
In first year theater, there's a question that they ask students from time to time. And it's a make or break question. And when you ask this question, you don't know. And the question is this. They say, why do you want to act? Now, if you say anything like, I want to be a star, you're not gonna get in. I didn't know that. And I figured I already blew the audition, so I told him the truth. He said, why do you want to act? I don't. That's what I said.
That's good.
And they said, well, then why are you here? I said, because I want to be a comedian, and some comedian told me that if I want to be a good comedian, I need to learn how to act. And teachers look at each other and go, thank you very much, and I left.
Take two.
And I was walking down the hallway, kicking rocks. There was a kid that already went here. His name was Aiko Handy. And Aiko said, hey, man, I listened to him talking about you. I said, you did? He said, you're in. I said, what? He said, you're in. Well, it didn't make any sense. Somehow we worked it out so that they gave me an early enrollment, and I left Eastland within weeks of that. And I came to Duke Ellington, and it was better than I could have ever imagined.
Real quick, man, like, just the story alone.
He's got you. He's got you.
He knows how to talk to you.
You're there at that time, too.
But just right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just his story of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Went on there, bombed.
You're in.
Somehow
exactly.
you're in.
Yeah.
Like, if they never asked him that question of why do you want to act, and they just never found out, hey, I want to be a comedian,
But
I really don't want to act. If that just was, audition, bomb.
Put yourself in that brain where, this kid is truly, he's here for the love of comedy.
Right.
That's what probably got him into school. You know, those questions, that's part of the story that brings you in.
But it's just certain like turns and stuff that your life can take. If they just was at, no, back to Eastern, who knows what the hell?
Right.
We probably never even heard of this guy.
I think he would have done. No, he would kind of
Probably still would have, but who knows?
Right.
Maybe he go to Eastern and start selling drugs.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he said Eastern was a bad place. Maybe he's selling drugs in Eastern now and get arrested at 9 years in prison.
Very pessimistic, man.
I'm just saying, who knows?
You're always just saying.
I didn't have the suspicion that most new kids get. I was an oddity, a new toy. I was quirky. I wasn't a snappy dresser. I didn't really know what the fuck was going on because the crack epidemic itself was new to me, and they were all refugees from their neighborhood schools. In the morning, we would have our academic classes, and then in the afternoon, we would have our arts classes. It was a long school day. We started at 8:30. We wouldn't leave here till 5, sometimes 5:30, whenever they saw fit.
Damn.
It's funny walking in here tonight, because I saw the pride flags up, and I remember when I came here all those years ago, it's the first time I'd ever met a kid who was just like gay, and was never strange to us. Their sexuality or their gender identity was the least remarkable thing about a person that could dance as well as Roger Bellamy or there was no distinction between any of that. Everybody was weird in their own way. And in a very strange way, because we spent so much time with one another, we helped raise one another. There's a camaraderie between these students that I don't know that I've seen since I left this school. I can remember, and I won't say names, there was a student that went here that used to sell drugs. It wasn't just a student, but this particular guy. This particular guy did the cardinal no-no on the streets. He did what they call not making your roll, which meant that he got some drugs on consignment and he didn't pay whoever gave him the drugs back. And whoever gave him those drugs had declared, "I'm gonna come to that school and I'm gonna kill you," he said. And my man was scared. And the word got around school that the goons was coming. And by the time the goons showed up, every dude that went to this school, gay, straight, whatever the fuck, was all standing out front. They said, "You have to kill all of us."
Wow.
And who was in front of all of them? Roger Bellamy was
That's fucking great.
But he's good with
That's great.
With the
But the story is so good too, man. But that's
But
great.
he's good with the
Bringing it back to
bring
the
it
front.
right back to
bring it back to first
remember
base.
I said Roger a few seconds ago?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
is. Like
Yeah,
he
he's
does that
pretty-
a lot.
He
man.
was front line. That's good.
That's funny as hell.
That's good. Look at that pose.
That pose.
front. They said, "You have to kill all of us." And who was in front of all of them? Roger Bellamy with some leg warmers on like this.
What's that leg warmers on? I didn't hear that part.
It's a leg warmer.
The leg warmers on. That's so good. That's so good. That's so
Leg
good.
warmer.
That's so good.
I started making friends that are still my friends to this very day, lifelong friends. As I get older, I appreciate my teachers more and more. But to tell you the truth, I appreciated them then. Teacher salary is, not necessarily what it should be.
At all.
And when I think about that, juxtaposed to the dedication that the teachers, the time they would spend to me, the way they would notice, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? You look sad today." Any little
right.
thing,
Little
like a
thing.
family member would.
Yep.
And they fostered an environment of almost absolute trust, like your parents. There's 2 lectures that I got at school that changed the way I do comedy. that like turned a light switch on. It was 2 teachers. Donald Lease.
If out there clapping, they were in the
Donald Lease, may he rest in peace.
Probably still was there.
Right.
Maybe one of the single best educators that I've ever met in my life. He had a demeanor about himself that demanded excellence from his students. He would tell us incredible stories that I didn't believe. He claimed in one class, the song Killing Them Softly was about him. I was like, nah, nigga. He told me he knew Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack and all these people, these DC legends. He's a humble man, but he really demanded excellence. And he gave us a lecture once on a concept called polarization. Polarization meaning the idea that if you can make everybody look at the same thing at the same time, that their rational mind will decrease.
That's going on
and
today.
the emotional response will increase.
That's going on
He said
today.
that's how audiences work.
Wow.
That's how mobs work. That's how you make a person lose themselves in the crowd.
Wow.
I got it.
That's it. That's common.
As he was saying this, he would hold a staple in his hand. It was a good lecture. He said, everyone focus on the staple, and then he would explain to us what polarization is as we're all looking at the staple, and then he'd scream, ha! And everyone would jump, oh! And he said, what you scared of? Oh, shit, that works. And ever since he did that lecture, I listened in his class intently. He was one of the only guys that I would always get straight A's from because I worked very hard, not to get his approval, but to avoid his disapproval. When we were coming up,
Does that work?
they had a thing called juries. I don't know, do they still do juries? Juries is when all the department heads give you a piece to work on and they sit there and they make you perform the piece, and the criticism is brutal.
That's great. That's education. Educators who care, man. That's educators who
And it's
care.
preparing you for life.
Right.
It's giving
Right.
you tougher skin. It's
That's
making
right.
you say, I'll show you next time.
Because life is up and down. Life is, yeah.
We have a topic, actually, that we are going to discuss on our honest opinion, the other channel, and it deals kind of with that that right there. Let's get a few more minutes, and then we're going to break it up to part 2.
This is really
Kids,
good.
we didn't understand that they were preparing us for a hard world ahead. If you wanted a profession in art, they would tear us to shreds. The stress of a jury, and man, I never practiced. Because I didn't want to act. At an improv class, a teacher named Geraldine Gilstrap told me that I should stop doing funny pieces, that I should try to stretch myself artistically, and maybe I had more in me than comedy. And at the time, I took offense to that. So because she said that, after school that very night, I went to the comedy club. For the first time, I signed the list, and I waited, and I got on, and I killed it. Killed it. Must have been 35 years ago, night after night. I killed it. I'd show up with a bag of tricks that I learned at school, and I would dominate adults on a regular basis. Couldn't wait to get out of DC. When I was 17, I moved to New York and lit that comedy scene up. I was obviously talented. You'll hear stories about people saying that I discovered Dave Chappelle. That's like saying you discovered sunshine. I was shining on everybody.
Let's stop it there. And we're going to do part 2.
I wonder how this is going to be received, because it's not a stand-up, but it's so
I mean,
real.
right.
And they're funny anecdotes, but what a story. The story's more powerful than comedy.
It is, man. I like hearing about, real quick, man, again, I think I told y'all about this R&B Money podcast or whatever the case is with Tank and Jay Valentine or whatever the case is. But they have a podcast and they bring people on, famous people, producers, whoever. And they basically go through how they started, and then I ended up making this hit like this, and this happened, and we made this hit. And it's just good to hear those stories all the time because it lets you know it ain't 99.9%, it's not this.
Oh, no.
it's some type of struggle you got to
a
go
journey,
through. It's
man.
a yay, and then another struggle, and then a this. It's a up and down thing. You want more ups and downs.
Today's artists, if they're not, I don't call them artists, when it comes to music or comedy, as you say, you've seen people on stand up you can't stand because it's so.
Bro, I don't know what Netflix is doing.
Right, put it in a blender. They're not doing this journey, and the beauty of this journey, you ain't gonna do 20 years before you hit stand up, but that journey, man, it polishes you.
It molds you.
It molds you into what you are, and it shows your true talent, man. It really does.
That-
The music and stand up and acting. You know how many actors here? No all the time. The De Niro's, the Pacinos, the Meryl Streeps. Back in the day, no, you're terrible. You never make it. You look at them now; they're gold.
In everything though, but that's in movies. Go watch. I think it's on Netflix. The movies that made us, or the toys that made us. All these toys that are Barbie and G.I. Joe. Some people told them no. Everybody told them no.
Yeah.
Until one final last out of the 100 companies said, one rinky-dink company, okay, let's just make it and see what happens. And the biggest toy ever. The biggest movie ever. Halloween and Forrest Gump and all these movies would have never been made. That's the way it goes, man. That's the way it
I
goes.
think Eddie Murphy had a great speech recently. About 6 months ago, he got an award. And his theme of his speech was, don't give up on yourself. He goes, the attack of the Rotten Tomatoes got made because someone said yes.
Yeah.
You know, forget it's being true, but just keep pushing your idea. You go believe in yourself, man. It's very true. Very true.
Let's stop there. We're gonna get into part 2 right now. Subscribe if you're new, guys. Hit the like button if you like the video.